Star Wars, Red Dwarf, Boris Johnson's approach to the coronavirus, Ridley Scott's Alien. What do all of these things have in common? You're about to find out in episode 4 of Obscurama. Hello, I'm Sam Ashurst and I'm a director. I love movies and I also love books. And one of my favourite books about movies is the Psychotronic Encyclopedia of Film. There it is. Yeah, so each episode of Obscurama I'm going to be delving deep into its pages to find underseen gems and talk about them. Now, this episode has a treat at the end, so do stay tuned for that. Something very special and very exclusive at the end of this episode. But before we get to that, we're going to be talking about John Carpenter's Dark Star. I say we're going to be talking about it. I'm going to be talking about it. There's no one else here. So, let's get started, shall we? The film opens cold with the crew of the Dark Star communicating with their boss. There's been a radiation leak that's harmed their captain, and they want protective equipment to stop it from happening to them. Kind of like NHS workers wanting PPE. The boss's answer is very familiar.
About your request for radiation shielding, sorry to report this request has been denied. I hate to send bad news when you guys are up there doing such a swell job, but I think you'll take it in the proper spirit. Considering the distance, we just can't afford to send a cargo shuttle out there to you. But I know you guys will make do. Keep up the good work, men.
We are working round the clock. I've never seen the government have such a singular effort to do this, but of course there is more to do, and of course there are logistical challenges getting this out.
Let's all clap for the crew of the Dark Star, shall we? Because that will definitely help. The boss also uses a word that would go on to appear in Star Wars a few years later, and we'll come back to Star Wars in a second.
We gather from the 10-year delay that you are approximately 18 parsecs away.
It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
We get a bit of social isolation, and then our heroes travel in a manner that's very familiar. Recognize it? No? How about now? Then the film basically becomes blokes with facial hair talking for a bit, which I enjoy. Not sure why though. It's not all blokes though, we do get a woman's voice in the form of a computer.
Computer to bomb number 20. Return to the bomb bay immediately.
But I have received the operational signal.
It is a malfunction. This is not a bomb run.
And that, combined with the way these space slobs live their lives, really does remind me of Red Dwarf, which was surely inspired by this movie. It doesn't just have a female computer, it has the same kind of talking equipment that Dark Star has. In Dark Star the bomb talks, and in Red Dwarf it's, well, have a look.
There's the signal, everything's set.
Well, let's just hope you don't get an overload.
What happens if I do get an overload?
You'll explode.
Anyway, back to the men with facial hair. One of them is playing a game I thought was invented in James Cameron's Aliens, but it clearly wasn't. There's a whole lockdown isolation vibe to this film, especially this bit where one of our beardy men goes off to play piano using an instrument he's made using bottles. Well, we've all been there, right? It was either this or banana bread. One of the men with facial hair is Dan O'Bannon, who really should be as famous as John Carpenter. He co-wrote and edited Dark Star, he wrote Alien, and he went on to direct Return of the Living Dead, one of the greatest films of all time. You can see the alien influence in Dark Star, even though this rubber ball creature is obviously a little bit less intimidating than the xenomorph. Now, if you're wondering why all this looks so low budget, it's actually a film school project that got expanded and promoted to cinema release. Dan O'Bannon and Carpenter actually met at USC in the 60s when the concept of film schools was very much in its infancy. Carpenter started working on the film in 1970, which he described as truck drivers in space. Where have we heard that before?
Kind of funny. The writer's name is Dan O'Brien. He wanted to call the thing as a joke, truck drivers in space.
It was seen by the filmmakers as the anti-2001, which John Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon felt was too clean. They wanted a lived-in version of space travel. Space is not fun, Dan O'Bannon said. It's boring, it's shitty. Tell that to Luke Skywalker. You can see the Kubrick influence in Dark Star. The tone is very Doctor Strangelove, especially at the end. But we're not actually going to get into that because, as ever, I'm going to leave this analysis here because I don't want to spoil the ending for you. In every episode of Obscurama, if this is your first watch of this show, I probably should have explained this earlier. But yeah, you don't have to worry about having the ending ruined because I always end this at the midpoint. And yeah, with Dark Star, the ending is actually my favourite part of the film. It's really, really good. So I would advise that you watch it, the whole film, as soon as you can. Now, I mentioned a treat earlier, so let's get to that. During my own Dark Star style social isolation, I've been keeping myself busy by making music, not using bottles but using synths. And one of these pieces I sent over to Sarah Daly, who you'll recognise from elsewhere on Channel Hex. She's in the Starburst documentary, she's in the video diaries that Laurie puts together. She is a genius. She's one of the co-founders of Hex. She writes feature films, but she also writes songs and sings them. And so I sent her a piece of my music and asked if she'd be so kind as to compose something for it. She did. I was so proud to collaborate with her, and you're going to see the result now. Now, why did I include this with this video? Well, you'll hopefully make the connection when you listen to it, but basically it's been created in a similar style to, or it's being delivered, let's say, in a similar style to one of the characters in Dark Star. And we're all creative people at Hex, so I figured I'd share a little bit of our creativity for the first time. No one else has seen this or heard this, so I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please do hit like. Please do especially hit subscribe. We'd love to share more videos with you and keep on entertaining you. Also on that note, if you can afford to subscribe to our Patreon, then please do. Every little bit of money helps, and we've got lots of cool options for you on there. I don't want to end up destitute, living on the streets, unable to afford popcorn and go to the cinema. I need those things when cinemas reopen, if they ever do. Let's not end this on a sad note. Let's end it with a song. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the movies.
In the Kodak-coated morning, dawn will bloom. But don't look now, it's coming soon. In sepia, desaturated, all become infatuated. With the dear degraded, the jaded making fakery luminous. Truthfulness losing its luster, degraded in the mimicry of falsehood, fakery glimmering in the dark. Truthfulness losing its luster in the mimicry of falsehood, glimmering in the dark. Sad swimming in a mirage, drying out something. Sad swimming in a mirage, drying out something. Trusting is a fool's game in a filtered fun park.
If you enjoy our crazy videos, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell notification icon, and also leave us a comment and let us know what you thought. If you would like to support our channel and help us make more weird videos like this, then also check out the Patreon link, which will show up about now. Okay guys, thank you so much, and goodbye.